right, Scream Fest LA. I think this is our sixth film that we watched, and this one is called Affection. The reason that this one came onto my radar, I actually asked for a screener to every single film at Scream Fest that was available because there was just so many, and I was having a hard time like looking through all of them, and I was just like, fuck it, I'll let fate decide if they send it. But this is one of the ones I definitely did want, because this was, I think, maybe the first one on the list because it was in alphabetical order. And I was like, oh, Jessica Rothe. I love Jessica Rothe. So, if you don't know that name, she is Tree in the Happy Death Day movies. She's also in La La Land for about 2 minutes.
Yes.
But Happy Death Day would definitely be her biggest role as of right now, especially within the horror community. And this is about a woman who wakes up and she is being told by the man that she wakes up next to that she is his wife, and she's like, no, I'm not. I am a different person. And he's like, no, that's not what's going on here. You suffered an affliction, a head wound, and this is making you think things and blah blah blah. And she's trying to, like, figure out whether or not this is the truth, and if she can accept that and live her life with him in this isolated area, because that's like part of her recovery. Suspect.
Very sus.
Very sus. High key sus.
Yes.
As the kids would say. Do the kids even say that anymore?
I don't know if they still say that.
They'd just be saying like skibbity. And
they're like 6'7".
6'7". 100%. That's all they'd say.
I don't know. It probably dates us. But
yeah. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I feel like we were both really confused during this movie. So it kind of brings it down a little bit for me. I don't know if you still felt confused by the end of it, but I do think that there is some confusing stuff in terms of the plot that just felt hard to understand and maybe could have been simplified.
Yeah.
I like the performances from everybody. I think that the movie looks really good, and there's definitely like the things that are happening aren't necessarily totally new scenarios to horror movies. Like, we've seen things like this before, but all that's fine.
We saw a movie just like it this very year.
Yeah. So, there's nothing like very groundbreaking for me, which is not like a knock or anything. I don't think a movie has to have like groundbreaking themes to be good. But my biggest takeaway was just that there was like a lot of confusion for us, at least partway through the film.
Yeah, I mean, this is a fairly unique review for me because it starts, and I wasn't super into it because it just felt very tropey, very classic, kind of like, Anastasia almost, and like, it's like Amnesia Light.
Yeah.
Right, where it's like, okay, it's doing like a different take on Amnesia. Instead of like, I don't know who I am, it's, no, I know who I am, and it ain't who you're telling me, right? So it's kind of like an iteration of that. And at first I was just kind of like, okay, I don't know if I'm vibing with this, but maybe it will stick the landing, like where this heads. Then about the halfway point, you get kind of the reveal of what's going on. And that was uber confusing. And I'm very, very glad that we had a screener at home so I could rewind and actually listen to the information, the exposition. Like, literally, I think 3 times I had to re-listen to it to be like, what? And I literally, like, paused it, and I would read all of, like, the text on the screen, because, what happens, there's, like, documents and stuff that you're looking at, and I'm, like, stopping it, and I'm reading every page, like, trying to understand it. And even after doing that, we both still were kind of going back and forth, and you're like, I think it's this. And I was like, no, I don't think so. I'm like, I think so. That's not good, right? Your audience shouldn't have to pause the movie, go over it, argue with whoever they're watching it with to try to come to a conclusion of like what's real and what isn't.
Because like
But hold on one
Okay.
second. All I'm going to say there is that so once that happens, I felt very annoyed and confused, and as you said, like I was kind of starting to disconnect from the movie. Then I actually really liked like what happened in the last 30 minutes
Yeah.
because I was like, okay, this is really fucked up. And once I got what they were going for, the conclusion kind of landed a very rocky plane for me. But this, yeah, as you said, there should have been a simplification of the information.
Yeah.
That's the problem with the movie.
It's really hard to talk about without like spoilers, of course, but there's like a difference between like not needing all the answers to understand like this is the vibe, this is what's happening, and like you don't really need like the details of like the intricacies of how something works in order to like understand the concept of the film and be like, okay, like this is what's going on. But with this one, because of the way that it was being explained, where it was giving details,
Yeah.
and the details were confusing, like that's where the confusion lies. So I hope that kind of makes sense. Like
They're just as confused.
I
as
know,
we
but
were.
it's like you want to know the like mechanisms of how something works, and you don't always need to know the mechanisms of something in a film if it's explained in the right kind of ambiguous way where like you don't need to know all the gritty details.
Right, you can piece it together.
Yeah, but this wasn't that case where it's like we were getting details and they were confusing us. So
I think most people will probably check out once the explanation happens, and they won't really commit to the rest of the film because of it, and I won't blame them.
and some people might watch this film and be like, I don't know what you guys are saying, like I had no problem, because maybe you are able to just kind of go along with it, but part of it is because of how many movies we watch, I think, where we really like
I just want to know what the hell I'm talking
Yeah.
about when I go to sit down to do
that's
a
what I
review.
mean, like we kind of are like, okay, wait, we need to know like what's happening specifically because they're describing it specifically. But regardless, I feel the same way about the ending that you did, where it's like I like the like last 30 minutes, but it has a pretty predictable ending too, which isn't a bad thing, but you know, I'll just say that. So I don't know how I feel. I like the film, but I don't.
I don't know if the ending's predictable.
I felt like it
okay.
was.
I
don't
think.
know.
Okay, I see what you're saying, but we thought it was going to be something else, and then it ended up being something, and then you were like predicted what was going to happen with that outcome.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
I don't know that it wasn't.
I guess
100%
it's not
predictable.
100% predictable, but I think anyway.
Anyway, we're beating
I don't
around
know.
the
We
bush
have
way too much.
another
gotta
movie to go
so.
to, so
Overall, it's a hard recommendation. I did end up liking it in the end, but I think that it had a really like rough takeoff. It had a lot of turbulence, but it landed at the airport at the end.
lots of like plane analogies.
Yeah.
And there's no plane involved.
No,
in
there's
this
no
movie.
plane, but yeah, it's always about sticking the landing, and I think that
Yeah.
I did like the ending. I thought it was pretty fucked up. Like once you kind of understand everything, I still don't know everything. Like there are still things that I'm kind of still confused about.
Yeah, there's a lot of like
But
messed up stuff going on.
When you realize most of what's going on and how it goes and what's happening, you're like, oh, this is actually really fucked up and sad and evil.
Yeah.
So
Release date?
that's that.
You
We have
know?
no release.
Okay, we'll keep an
That
eye
I'm
out
aware
for
of.
it then.
If I find one, I'll leave it in the description.
And if you watch it, let us know if you were confused too. So.
Yes. Other than that,
Bye.
adios, guys.